And it's only when you really, I suppose, spend time on that strategy and understand it that you can fully qualify a seller, any potential sellers. Because if you understand what you want, then you can qualify your seller. I mean, what would be some of the things they should look at to qualify a seller?
So of course, the obvious one that we always start with is the financial performance. So I mean, if you are a strategic buyer and you are more in for the potential as well as the financial performance, you may not mind so much that, for example, the profit has dipped because there has been an investment in technology for the company, to boost performance or productivity. But if you're looking for an accretive acquisition, I mean, for it to add value, you're gonna look for, nice turnover and nice profits. I mean, and anything that is less than that, it might not be something that your board or your investors would approve. So sometimes, like the financial performance, depending on the buyer, may be up high on the list, or they may be willing to accommodate the potential of a company, but not so much that the present and immediately past performance is great. And a lot of the times, the main value driver that they will be looking for is the clients, as in, I want to have that client portfolio. Like if you're acquiring a competitor, I mean, obviously it's kind of like that client that I could never get, I'm getting it now, I mean, through the acquisition. Sometimes it's some operational excellence point that you have never been able to attain, and another company, has cracked it somehow. I mean, and they have it sussed out in such a way that you acquire all that knowledge, you acquire that process, and you are able to, incorporate it and perhaps improve it. I mean, because, there's always this kind of continuous improvement, but the technology and the know-how of a particular company may be very attractive, but very rarely, unless it's paired with, a good, client portfolio. So it's that combination of things that the buyer will be looking at. And of course, the buyer will be looking at it from that point of view of, what is this going to do for my company? So if that strategy has been well defined in terms of acquisition, it means that every acquisition that you make makes you stronger, and that any difficulties that you encounter along the way compensate somehow for the fact that you will be so much better off, once the deal is completed.
And understanding the seller really and what you want will help you when you get to that LOI piece, putting in the terms that you want, and also, at the end of the process when you're structuring the deal, to figure out what way should the deal be structured based on your needs, and then the needs of the seller, and obviously the attributes of the seller as well. Are there any pointers in and around the closing part of that you would recommend on the buy side to help post integration?
Yes. So I mean, obviously, once you have detected all those value drivers and you're very clear as to why you want to make that acquisition, I mean, one of the things that I would recommend is, for anybody that is so intent in buying companies, that they need to set the tone and they need to set the schedule, and they need to detect if there's anything that will be a challenge from a culture perspective, because the deal structure, whether, how much you're going to be paying at deal closing, and then how much you're going to be paying later, or how much is going to be built on an earnout, is going to determine sometimes the tempo of the post-merger integration and the dynamics that are going to unfold. So you would be wise trying to foresee and preempt the challenges that may cause, operationally speaking, that may have an impact as well on the company performance. So to set that tone and to detect, through engagement, how those dynamics will unfold, I think is very important. For buyers that are kind of going for companies that are very small in comparison, I mean, I would recommend not to play the kind of the big guy, as in, I know everything and you know nothing, and I'm gonna buy you, because I think that some people may not care. They might say, just give me the cash and I'll just take it, and you can keep, the company that I have built for so many years. But other company owners might be put off by, an attitude like that. So, I mean, I think that it plays an important part in being able to progress through the LOI, and also the fact that the LOI is telling you, well, this is the deal structure that I'm proposing, this is the price, I mean, this is the timing of events. I mean, if you're making it clear that like the seller knows exactly what they're getting themselves in for, and that there are no surprises along the way. And finally, I would say that like in preempting the due diligence, try to basically hint at what's important, what you have detected as to why you want to go ahead with something like this, so that the seller is encouraged to cooperate and collaborate and be open. And so make it as straightforward as possible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So really preparation for whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, all the preparation, all the consideration, all the reflection that you do in the beginning of the process makes life easier at the end of a process.
Yes.
Like a good marriage, I suppose.
Yes, or buying a house.
Or buying
indeed.
a house. Yeah, exactly. Well, Olga, thank you very much for sharing your insights. You've been watching Mergers and Acquisitions Talks, our Ask the Expert style of interviews around the topic of mergers and acquisitions for the localization industry. Hope you enjoyed watching us today. If you did, please like, share and tweet, and join in the conversation and suggest other topics for us to discuss. I'm Annette Lawler. Thanks for watching.